Assalamu alaikum students. This is Ahmed Hussain from English department of SMB Qaidism Public School, Higher Secondary section. So my students, today we are going to discuss our lesson, and indeed it is lesson number 4 of our class 9th, and its name is Mohenjo-daro. No doubt today we are going to discuss this lesson in detail, and before proceeding forward, my students, let's have an overview of this lesson, in which we'll read the text of of this lesson initially, and later on we'll discuss the non-textual exercises as well. So my students, you can observe the picture of Mohenjo-daro on your screen. So now let's move forward. Here it is the text of a lesson in a book, and initially here in this first paragraph, the geography, the location of Mohenjo-daro has been described by the writer, and he has given some details about Mohenjo-daro, that where it is and when was it discovered. So my students, let's proceed forward. So let's start. Mohenjo-daro, or the Mound of the Dead. Mohenjo-daro, which is the actual Sindhi word, and it is called Mound of Dead in English, and it is one of the oldest cities in the world. It is at a distance of 27 kilometers from Larkana on the right bank of the river Indus. My students, Larkana, one of the important cities of Sindh, and Mohenjo-daro is located at a distance of about 27 kilometers, and indeed it is situated on the right bank of river Indus. No doubt river Indus flows in Sindh, and generally it originates from Kashmir, and later on it flows into the Arabian Sea, and throughout Sindh it also flows, and on the right bank of this river Indus, Mohenjo-daro is situated. So furthermore, few people live there today, but for 1,500 years ago, it was a large, busy city. Yes, it was a large, busy city, my students. Now, it is the Mound of Dead, but 4,005 years ago, it was a busy city, yes, and nobody knew anything about it until 1922. Before that, nobody had any information about Mohenjo-daro, and the people came to know about it when some villagers found pieces of old smooth pots and old bricks at the place where now stands the uncovered city. That's why the writer says nobody knew anything about it until 1922, when some villagers found pieces of old smooth pots and old bricks at the place where now stands the uncovered city. So this was all about the location of Mohenjo-daro, students, that has been described in this first paragraph. Now you can observe the screen, on your screen, the personality, and his name is also mentioned, that's Sir John Marshall. So Sir John Marshall was an English servant who was working here during the British rule, and that's why there is some description about Sir John Marshall, that these pieces of old pots and bricks were brought to Sir John Marshall, an English civil servant, whose work it was to look after historical remains like ancient buildings and other old things, such as these pieces of pots and bricks. So, as right now I have told you about Sir John Marshall, that he was an English civil servant, and he was looking after the historical remains. One day he was himself, indeed he was himself very interested in history and was anxious to find out about these remains. So when he looked at them carefully, he at once knew that they were pieces of very old pots, because the when the pieces of old pots and bricks were brought before him, he was quite interested in those remnants, and that's why he indeed he told that he was thinking about that these were very precious pieces. And also he said about the bricks, he said that perhaps there was once a town or a city which lies under these mounds of clay and sand. Let us dig here. Maybe we shall uncover the remains of an old city. So, my students, these were the words of Sir John Marshall after considering the old pots and bricks, in which he said that perhaps there was once a town or a city. He predicted that there might be a town or a city which lies under these mounds of clay and sand. That's why he instructed to dig out. So, my students, in this, let's proceed towards the third paragraph. And indeed, these paragraphs are mentioned on the page number 19, and you can observe it at the bottom. So, in this third paragraph, my students, the writer says, so the men started digging, and as they dug more and more, such pieces came up. Yes, because they started the process of digging, and when it was taking place at that time, so new things bit by bit came out, and that's why it has been written here that more and more such pieces came up, till there appeared bit by bit a city of straight roads and well-built houses. So, my students, what was discovered? That it was discovered the straight roads were discovered, and well-built houses were discovered. That's why the writer and that has been written here. You can imagine how surprised and excited the people were when they saw all this coming up from what they had so far taken to be only mounds of clay and sand. Yes, there was nothing, but the uncovered city was explored with the straight roads and well-built houses. That's why writer says each house was made of a large baked bricks and had a bathroom and servant quarters close by. You can observe the intensity and the perfection of these houses, that these houses were made of large baked bricks and having bathrooms and servant quarters as well. Covered drains ran beside the streets. Even the streets were made of baked bricks, carts and other forms of transport. Still see the great hall where the grain was stored. There is a wide road in the middle of which was the shopping center with the shops on both sides. This road continues on to the houses of the workmen. So, my students, you can now imagine that city, that there were straight roads over there. There were well connected and well established houses, along with the washrooms and along with the servant quarters, and also some modes of transportation like carts and other forms were also brought out, and also you can still see the great hall where grain was stored, and it is mentioned by the writer. Furthermore, there is a road, a wide road in the middle of which was the shopping center. So my students, you can now imagine such a city that was uncovered till thousands of years, but after its exploration, it is now in front of us. Furthermore, in the subsequent paragraph, writer explains that the people of the city must have been great traders. Well, here it has been predicted by the writer that they might be great traders, because with the river Indus so near and the sea within easy reach, the countryside must have been fertile, since wheat, rice and cotton grew there. My students, here it has been clearly mentioned by the writer that what were the cultivations there, the wheat, rice and the cotton. Furthermore, the farmers also kept cattle, because there was also the profession of cattle rearing. That's why the farmers also keeping cattle. There were skilled craftswomen who worked in gold, silver and ivory. Clay dolls and carts were made for the children to play with. So these were all about the professions of the people who were living in the Mohenjo-daro. The students, you can now observe that what sort of people were they, and even living thousands of years ago, they were much civilized, and they were such that was such a civilized society as now. Even one cannot imagine about such sort of roads, some sort of shopping malls, some sort of the construction of houses where there was washroom and servant quarters, and also about their trade, about their professions, which are indeed mentioned, because it is the fact, whenever any city is constructed or is situated, any city is situated near any river, because river is also the source of trade and also the source of irrigation. That's why that was predicted by the writer that they might be great traders, because there was river Indus as well, and also due to that there was cultivation as well. And there are some picture of farmers, there's some picture of the fertile land is also painted by the writer. Furthermore, he also mentioned about the skilled craftsmen, that there were skilled craftsmen who worked in gold, silver and ivory. Clay dolls and carts were made for the children to play with. We also have an idea of the dresses worn by the ruling class, the priests and the elders, from the seals of many kinds that have been found there. They were long, loose dresses. And also at the end of this paragraph, writer has also explained and also presented about their dresses, that what sort of dresses were they wearing thousands of years ago. And also he has clearly mentioned that we also have an idea of dresses worn by the ruling class, the priest and the elders, from the seals of many kinds, because many seals, many sort of seals were often brought out or evacuated out during the process of that evacuation, and that have been found there, and they show that the people who were living there were using long and loose dresses. So my students, now furthermore, later on you can observe this screen, on your screen, the picture of Mohenjo-daro, and you can it is quite visible about the how their structure, their drainage system, and their presentation and architecture, and sort of the work in an organized manner. You can observe organization here. You can observe discipline here. Furthermore, here you can also observe some other things through this picture, how these houses were built, and also about their washrooms and about their servant quarters and so on. So my students, this was all about today's lessons, and indeed this was the first video lecture and the part 1 of lesson 4, and inshallah hopefully will deliver the lecture on the remaining part of the lesson in the subsequent video lecture, that will be the part 2 inshallah. And in this video lecture we discussed 5 initial paragraphs and also tried to comprehend the text of the lesson. And also my students, we are here to, and the related activity with this video lecture is that you must sort out some new words and try to add new words in your vocabulary and increase your vocabulary bank, so that it will be helpful for you in the other composition, in the writing, is to develop your writing skills through composition. And also we'll send you worksheets at the end of this lesson, which will be helpful for the assessment process. So my students, thank you so much.